I am making a Blue Eyes deck profile. I got the structure decks at my locals recently, and I didn't do too well, but that's partially because the sleeves I was using weren't very good. But the deck is very fun to play, and there's one thing I did with this deck that I realized I could do that I just felt really bad about doing. Just because I actually won me a few games because my opponent didn't open a spellcaster. So just because of that, you might already know what it is. But anyway, starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. Sage with Eyes of Blue has the effect that when normal summoned, you can add a level 1 light tuner other than Sage with Eyes of Blue from your deck to your hand. And then if this card's in your hand, you can discard it, target a monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then you can only use each of those effects of Sage with Eyes of Blue once per turn. And then I play 3 copies of the target that Sage will normally add, which is 3 copies of Maiden of White. Maiden of White has the effect that you can discard this card. Is it discard or actually send it to the graveyard? Because I don't actually know. Okay, you send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to place a true light from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap zone. And then, if you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon it. And then if it's targeted for an attack, you can change this card to defense mode. I think that's this one. Let's see, when a card or effect activate the target of this card, or an attack. Or this card, when this card is targeted for an attack, especially by the dragon. Okay. If it's targeted by a card effect or targeted for an attack, you can then activate its effect to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a level 1 Light Tuner from your hand, deck, or grave. I think it's hand, deck, or grave. Let's see. Okay, no, you special summon it from your graveyard. That's why you read the card, because sometimes you think you know it and you don't. And then next, I play 3 copies of Neo Kaiser Seahorse. This would probably ordinarily be like a 1 or 2 of, but I personally like it at 3, just because it's a level 4 light tuner, which which pairs well with the level 6 dark bystial monsters. But Kaiser Seahorse has the effect that once per turn, it's only hit that works for itself. Whoa, target a light tuner you control. Okay. But once per turn, you can target a light tuner monster you control and either increase or decrease its level by 1. And then you can special summon it from your hand for free if you control a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then if it's sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon, you can send a Blue Eyes monster from your deck to your graveyard, which ordinarily will be Jet Dragon or Dragon Spirit of White. And then next, I play 1 copy of Bestial Magnemite. Magnemite just has the effect that, like all the other level 6 Bestials, you can target a light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish the target, and if you do, special summon this card. And then that effect becomes a quick effect if your opponent has a monster in play. And then after that, each of the Bestials have their own unique effects, where Magnemite can activate on summon to add a dragon monster from your deck to your hand at the end of the turn. And then next, I play 3 copies of Bystial Serenir. Serenir lets you send a Bystial or a branded spell or trap from deck to graveyard when it leaves the field. Or not leaves the field, when it is sent to the graveyard, not when it leaves the field. And then next, I play 3 copies of Bystial Druisworm. Druisworm, when it leaves the field, it lets you target a special summon monster in your opponent's field and send it to the graveyard. And then lastly, for the Bestial monsters, I play 3 copies of the Bystial Lubellion. The Bystial Lubellion has the effect that you can discard it to then be able to add any level, I think it's level 6 or lower. Let's see. Bestial building. Let's return this way because it's cover your hand. Okay, let's you add a bestial monster besides the bestial Lubellion. And then you can special summon it from your hand or graveyard by attributing one level 6 or higher Dark Dragon, that's the only downside of Lubellion, but that usually doesn't really matter that much. And then Lubellion also has the once per turn effect to take a branded continuous spell or trap in your deck and place it face up in your spell and trap zone. And then next, I play one copy of Dragon Spirit of White. Dragon Spirit of White is treated as a normal monster while, in your hand and in graveyard. That's the only part of this thing I can never remember. Treated as a normal monster while on hand or grave. And then when it's normal or special summoned, you can target a spell or trap card your opponent controls and banish it. And then if your opponent controls a monster, then quick effect, you can tribute Dragon Spirit of White to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. And then next, I play two copies of Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Blue Eyes Jet Dragon has the effect that once per turn, if a card or cards on the field are destroyed, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then while it's in play, all your other monsters or all your other cards cannot be destroyed. And I really love it when my opponent tries to attack this just because it's in defense mode with its 0 defense points. But it has the effect that once per turn, if it battles, then it can target one card on the field and return it to the owner's hand. Make sure I'm not getting that right. Or make sure I'm getting it right. No. You're wrong. At the start of the damage step, this card battles, target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So, there's been plenty of times I've had someone attack Jet Dragon, not realizing that's just going to bounce whatever they're attacking it with. But it's also fun having both Jet Dragons in play, because then just nothing on your field can be destroyed, as Jet Dragon protects all cards you control except for itself. So having two of them, the Jet Dragons will protect each other. And then next, I play 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's just in here because you really need it for, well, everything. And then next, I play 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Ordinarily, I'd only be playing 1 or 2 of this, but I'm only playing 3 for a reason I'll get to when I get to the extra deck. The Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon can be special summoned from your hand by revealing a Blue Eyes White Dragon that's in your hand. And it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned by doing that. Because I think it has the cannot be normal summoned or set line. Okay. And then once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. But if you do, then Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon cannot attack for that turn. And then while it's on the field or in the graveyard, its name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then lastly, just because I'm playing a certain trap card, I do play 1 copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This is just because it's a really big body that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and does double piercing damage. And that's it for the monsters. For the spells, I play 1 copy of Mausoleum of White. Mausoleum of White has the effect that you get 1 additional normal summon of a level 1 light tuner. And then, once per turn, you can target 1 monster you control. Send a normal monster from your deck to the graveyard, and the targeted monster gains 100 attack times that sent monster's level. Which ordinarily you'd use this target Maiden, send a Blue Eyes. Or you would have it target Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Send a Blue Eyes and you'll use Spirit to summon the Blue Eyes back from grave. I feel like it does more than that, but I don't remember exactly. Okay. And it does have a third effect, but that doesn't really matter unless you're playing Burst Stream of Destruction, where you can banish it from your graveyard to add that spell. But as far as I can tell, no one is playing that card. It just makes it so you destroy all your opponent's monsters, and then Blue Eyes White Dragon can't attack. Then next I play 1 copy of Branded Regained. Branded Regained has 2 effects, where when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can activate Regain's effect to summon a Bystial from your hand or graveyard. And then that effect is actually a soft once per turn, so if you have multiple regains, then you can use that effect for each regained separately. And then the hard once per turn effect on regained is its other effect where if a light or dark monster is banished, then you can target that one of those banished monsters, put it at the bottom of the owner's deck, and if you do, draw one card. And this is actually how you're able to recycle some of your extra deck monsters, as they are all everything in the extra deck, with an exception to one, I believe, are all light or dark. Let's see. Yep. Everything in the extra deck is light and dark, except for one monster, which I'll get to that when I get to the extra deck. And then, lastly, for the one-of spells, I play one copy of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. This card just makes it so that if you control a spellcaster and your opponent doesn't, then your opponent can't use spell cards. But if you don't control a spellcaster, then you cannot use spell cards when your opponent can. And then next, I play two copies of Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons has the effect that you can activate a special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your, I believe it's deck, grave, or banish. Yeah, you can special summon one from your deck, grave, or banish. But unless you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, then you have. If you do not control Blue Eyes White Dragon, then you have to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon in defense position. And then you can also banish Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons to then be able to fusion summon a monster from your extra deck. I believe it has to use Blue Eyes White Dragon, though. Okay, no, it just lets you fusion summon using a Blue Eyes monster. So technically, you could actually use this, fuse 5 dragons to summon the 5-headed dragon, as long as one of the dragons you use is a Blue Eyes. And then next, I play 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragon. This just lets you discard a card to add 2 dragon monsters that have 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense. So you can use this to add Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, or Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. And it lets you add 2, so that doesn't seem very bad. Like, you can just add Blue Eyes White Dragon and Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon and have a pretty good alternative dragon. And I believe... Yeah, and that is not a once per turn thing, so if you have multiples of these, you can just use them both. Or use any of them. So, say it. And then next, I play the new spell card, Wishes for Eyes Blue. Wishes just lets you discard a card to add a level 1 light tuner and a spell or trap from your deck to your hand, as long as that spell or trap mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon. And I believe it has to be different from the spells and traps in your field, on your field and in your graveyard. But that's how it works. Okay, no, I'm thinking something else. It just lets you add a... It just lets you add that, and then... I forget what... I already forgot the restriction. Okay, there's not. And then it has the great effect, you can banish it to target a Blue Eyes monster you control and equip it with a fusion monster from your extra deck. That is literally just to help cheat out Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. I think this is the one. Okay, yeah. And then moving on to the traps, I play 1 copy of True Light. True Light has the effect that while it's in play, your Blue Eyes White Dragons are unaffected by your opponent's card effects, or it can't be targeted or destroyed. I forget which one it is specifically. Okay, your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone with card effects, and then if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you destroy all monsters you control, which usually have Jet Dragon to play with it, so it's fine. And then after that, it has 2 effects. You can only use 1 of the 2 per turn, where you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard, or Blue Eyes monster. You can special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or graveyard, or you can set a spell or trap from your deck that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon, as long as that spell or trap has different names from the cards already on your field or in your graveyard. And then lastly, for the traps, I play 3 copies of Majesty with Eyes of Blue, or Blue Majesty of the Blue Eye of the bleh, Majesty of the White Dragons. I kept trying to say other cards. Majesty with Eyes of Blue is something entirely different. Continuous spell, if I believe. But Majesty of the Blue Eyes. My brain will not let me not say of the blue-eyed dragons. Majesty of the White Dragons lets you target or show up to 3 blue eyes white dragons in your hand or field or grave. As I think it's hand, field, or grave. Show to 3 of the blue eyes white dragon in your hand, face up, monster zone, and or graveyard. Then destroy an equal number of cards your opponent controls. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard to ritual summon 1 ritual monster from your hand by attributing blue eyes white dragon or dragons from your hand or field whose total levels equal its level, and you can only use each effect once per turn. I don't know why my brain will not let me pronounce or say this card's name right for some reason. I don't know why. But this card is why I only play the 1 Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, because you can just banish this, tribute to blue eyes you control, ritual summon it. And that's also a good card because that's non-targeting destruction effect. But that is it for the main deck. The main deck, if I counted correctly, is 40. I believe it's 45 cards. It's either 45 or 44. No, it's 44 because I want to make the 45th card Monster Reborn for some stupid reason. I really want to, but I'm not going to. Moving on to the extra deck. I play 1 copy of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. I was playing 2 of this, but I realized that I can just recycle it with Bystials and Branded Regained. But when it's Link Summoned, you can add Mausoleum of White from your deck to your hand. And then you contribute this to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon that's in your graveyard. Or you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster, but the summoned monster will have its effects negated. So usually you're using this summon Blue Eyes White Dragon. Then next I play 1 copy of Heavenly Seal, Heretic Seal the Heavenly Spheres. This just has the effect during your opponent's turn. At any point you contribute it to then target a monster your opponent control or a card your opponent controls, return to the hand. Can't remember if it has to be a monster or not. Can't refuse. Okay, I got it wrong. You contribute it during your opponent's turn at any point to then return 1 face-up card on the field back to the owner's hand. Usually you have it tribute itself, just because you can then use its effect to summon a dragon monster from your deck. However, its attack and defense becomes 0, but it keeps its effects. So normally what you summon off this would be Jet Dragon, or you would summon Bestial Magnemite. And then next, let's play 1 copy of Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon. Indigo Eyes has the effect that when it's I can't remember if it's Xyzed or special summoned. Let's see. Okay, if it's Xyzed summoned, you can activate its effect to then negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. What I like about that is that it's a permanent negation. So if your opponent has the entire field of face-up cards, Jet Dragons can just laugh at it. Or Jet Dragon. Indigo Eye Silver Dragon can just laugh at it. Don't know why I said Jet Dragon. But Indigo Eyes also cannot attack. Or sorry, it can't attack directly. Cannot attack directly unless it has a normal monster as material, which normally you make this with the Blue Eyes White Dragon anyway. And then, once per turn, you can activate its effect to use a material to then bring back a normal monster from your graveyard, usually Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then it gains 1,000 attack. I think it does more than that, but I may be wrong. Let's see. You get the effects of all face-up monsters or all face-up cards your opponent controls. Material target normal monster in your grave or banish special on it if you do increase its attack. Okay, so the thing I couldn't remember about it was that it can summon from grave or banish. So if your opponent has banished a Blue Eyes White Dragon that you were trying to summon, then this can just summon that banished Blue Eyes back to the field. But it does only summon back normal monsters. And then next I play 1 copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon is how you can easily get to Secret Village of the Spellcasters. As once per turn, Ancient Fairy Dragon can destroy all field spells in play, increase your life points by 1,000, and then you can add a different field spell with a different name from the destroyed field spells to your hand. And then once per turn, you can special summon a level 4 lower monster from your hand, but your battle phase is skipped. But you cannot connect your battle phase, it's one of those two, whichever one lets you do on the first turn. And then ordinarily you summon this off of Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, which I'll get to that one later. And then the only non-light or dark extra deck monster in this deck is Crystal Link Synchro Dragon. This is just because you can easily make it by using any of the level 1 tuners with Ancient Fairy Dragon. The Crystal Link Synchro Dragon has the effect that it gains 500. It gains attack equal to the attack points of any level 5 or higher monster in battles. And then once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can activate Crystal Link's effect to negate that monster's effect, destroy it, and if you do, Crystal Link gains that monster's attack points until the end of the turn. And then I also play one copy of Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Azure Eyes has the effect that when special summoned until the end of your next turn, dragon monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then during your standby phase, Azure Eyes has the effect that lets you special summon a normal monster from your graveyard. The only thing I don't remember is if Azure Eyes has to target it or not. Okay, you target a normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And then next, I play 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Spirit Dragon has the effect that neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at a time, so you can't pendulum summon. And then, if your opponent activates the effect of a card in the graveyard, Spirit Dragon can just say no once per turn. And then, as a quick effect, Blue Eye Spirit Dragon contribute itself to special summon a Light Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck. However, it is destroyed during the end during the next end phase. How does that work exactly? It's either destroyed that end phase or destroyed during the next end phase. Destroying during the end phase of this turn. Okay, that's how it's worded. And then I also play 1 copy of Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon has the effect that when your opponent activates the effect of a card or cards on field, or your opponent activates a card or effect on field, then Ultimate Spirit Dragon can negate it, and if you do, it gains 1,000 attack till the end of the turn. And then if Spirit Dragon leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can then special summon 1 Light Dragon Synchro monster from your graveyard, except for Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. And then next, I play 2 copies of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel has the effect that you can treat any light or dark monster as a tuner for its synchro summon, which in this deck doesn't matter because the only real way to make this is with Neo Kaiser Seahorse and a level 6 bystial. My apologies, I don't know why I keep yawning. But Chaos Angel has the effect that once per turn, if it's special summoned, you can target a card your opponent controls and banish it. And then it has 2 other effects, depending on whether or not you use a light or dark monster to make it. And with this deck, it's always going to be both. Where if you use a light monster, then your synchro monsters are unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects. And if you use dark, then none of your monsters can be destroyed in battle. And then lastly, for the synchros, I play 1 copy of Bystial Dissipator. Bystial Dissipator has the effect that once per turn, you can target a banished light or dark monster and summon it to your field. And then, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can activate Dissipator's effect, targeting a banished card, shuffling it back into the owner's deck, and then you apply 1 of 2 effects depending on whose deck it went to. If it was shuffled into your deck, then you destroy that monster, or if it was shuffled into your opponent's deck, you negate that monster's effect. And then moving on to the fusion monsters, I play 1 copy of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon either has to be fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing a Blue Eyes White Dragon that is equipped with a fusion monster. And the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And then at the end of the turn, if it battled, you can set a spell trap. You can set a trap card from your graveyard. Let's see, I feel like there's some kind of restriction there. You need to remember how it works. It's unaffected by trap cards and the effects of trap cards. You can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Once per turn, at the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you can target a trap card in your graveyard and set it to your spell and trap zone. So with this can just help you recycle using Majesty of the White Dragons. I actually had to focus and make sure I got that right this time. The only other thing that they can set in this deck would be True Light, but normally you'll always have True Light in play, so that shouldn't be an issue. The other thing is if your opponent banishes True Light, then you also have Dissipator that you can potentially use to recycle True Light. Then I also play one copy of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, the only relevant effect in this deck is that you can... if your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a dragon you control, then you can banish this card from your graveyard to then negate that effect, and if you destroy that card. Because ordinarily, this is the card you'll equip Blue Eyes with to summon Tyrant Dragon. And then lastly, for the extra deck, it's a card I don't have yet, but I got tired of waiting on the mail to make this video, so I figured why not, I'll go ahead and make it. But the last card is one copy of Blue Eyes Ultimate Alternative White Dragon. Blue Eyes Ultimate Alternative Dragon has the effect where it cannot be targeted or destroyed by opponent's card effects. And then once per turn you can target one... or... I can't remember exactly. But I believe it does target. You target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. But if you made it with a blue monster that's original name is Blue Eyes White Alternative Dragon, then you can target 3 cards instead. However, this card cannot attack the turn you use its effect. I just figured I'd try playing it, see if I liked it. If I don't, then I'll replace it with probably a second copy of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. But one thing I did think about doing with this deck was play... where I put it? It should be nearby already. Ah, here it is. Let's play one copy of Five-Headed Dragon and side Super Polymerization. Just because at my locals there's a lot of people playing Blue Eyes, and since dragons are going to be played a lot, I figured why not try to have a funny out. Activate Super Polymerization, fuse all your opponent's dragons away, minus some of your own if they don't have 5, for Five-Headed Dragon. But I figured I'll go ahead and try this first. But that is it for my Bestial Blue Eyes deck profile. If you have any ideas of what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas for decks like to see be made in the future, or decks like to see face each other, I'm currently working on a Blue Eyes versus Red Dragon Archfiend video. I just need to actually find someone that knows how to play Red Dragon Archfiend, or is willing to lend me a couple bestials for my version of Bestial Red Dragon. But anyway, that's what I'm currently working on. If you have any ideas, comment down below. I always read the comments. Thank you for watching.